Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. You are hopping in to a traditional best of three Zendikar Rising draft with Travis Semulin Sowers. If you would like to watch the drafting live, you can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Chat, say hello to YouTube. We have opened the mythic uncommon Roost of Drakes, which is one of the better cards in the set if you can get it early enough to build around it. We have and we can. We have had many victories on the back of Roost of Drakes. There is not, but this rare certainly doesn't compete. I can't think of many that do. I also wasn't thinking initially that this was going to be as powerful as something like an air elemental with upside, but it is. It's real good. I think a lot of people initially thought that you were going to have to pair this with green to get the right amount of kickers. I've made it work with black pretty easily, and with red with some bit of a stretch. Magic, thank you for the host. Glad to have y'all over here. Good morning, Scotty. It's nice. This pack make me a little sad. The Legion Angel's pretty good. There are no white kickers. I don't really want to play white. Lately, I've been trying to avoid red and white and get into some combination of blue, black, or green. Now, the YouTuber, I think that leads to me taking the Divner here. YouTubers may remember Golgari theory, and I haven't posted a lot of Zendikar drafts. I've been posting a lot of Chaos drafts, but my theory is that a lot of people who were playing in the best of one queues have reached whatever milestone they wanted there, whether it was Platinum or Mythic or whatever, and have now moved over to the best of threes as they're waiting for Cube or whatever's next. And that is making the white and red cards go up in value to them because the aggressive strategies that they liked in best of one, they're trying to recreate here. We'll see if that's the case. Here we are getting cut a little bit from blue, so we need to make a bit of a decision about what to pair this with. And I really don't want to make that decision. I want to just take a solid blue card and move along, but I'm not getting that option. Valakut Awakening is basically a land with cycling, which is pretty dang good. We could take the Gnarlrid Colony and try to get into blue-green. I'm concerned about how much power we might be passing for that, but I think the Roost of Drakes is worth trying to build around a bit if we can. Okay, never mind, we're good. We're absolutely good. So there's a Black Bloom Rogue, a Deadly Alliance, still a field research. So what's happening here is blue is getting cut. Golgari is open. That leads me to believe that I should take the blue kickers when I see them, and then see which of them is more open. Because I think if this was last pack, I might take the Deadly Alliance, but it's not last pack. Because I really don't care which of the two I pair this with, I just want to get to play the Roost of Drakes. So I think we're going to take the field research here. Yoinks! Come on in, buddy. We happy to see you. I have triggered Roost of Drakes with Scorch Riders, but I'm not looking to do that. All right, Anticog is not a wonderful card if you're not able to get a little bit of mill going. It's fine, you can play it. Although realistically, I'm not going to play a Might, or probably not going to play an Ascetic in this deck. But it's probably still worth taking in case we get into black. Because like we're not really deep into green here. My opinion on the Skycleave Squid has come around a little bit. You end up needing 2-drops. This one trades well. Like, again, not super excited about it, but we could play it. That's a decent little critter. Veil Shield does have kicker. I'll usually play one in a deck that's very focused on kicker. But like this is another inclination that maybe we could just play this with green. I think the first one of these is pretty good. Don't really think I'm super interested in a Zendikar. The decision of what we're going to pair this with is going to basically depend on what type of removal spell we open in the next pack. Ideally, it's Bubble Snares and I don't have to worry about it. I don't anticipate playing much of this, but if we get some wizard payoffs, we could play the Seer. Okay. There's a little pip for red here. But I do like this guy. I think I undervalued this card initially, too. Cleric's playable adjacent. But I'd rather have squids. That said, I'm realistically not playing any of that either. Good morning, Loki. There's a Broken Wings. I think I'm ready to commit to green. Hey, what's up, Jamie? How you doing? Playable adjacent. It's not a bad way to describe it. I was sleepy too, but this helped. This helped a lot too. Ah, happy is a good place to be. All right, so what we're kind of missing here is interaction. If we want to just buckle down on green, we can get that interaction with the Rabid Bite. Mostly going to be a lightning strike. I'm pretty okay with that. I feel like blue was being cut, but we don't care because we've got enough powerful blue cards to make it work, and green was open. Black was too. But I don't think we're in a position to try Golgari Theory with this. If I can get a Reclaim the Wastes and a Blood Beckoning, we'll talk. But yeah, as long as I can just take kickers within the colors that I already have, let's do it. Yoinks. Nothing there to get me off of this either. Kalini Ambush. Kalini Ambush versus a Wizard Relic. That's an interesting one. I like the amulet a lot, and there's a surprising number of wizards in blue-green. I think where I'm going, I'd rather have the interaction. I could respect the amulet here. That's going to make something like the Kazandu Stomper even more valuable. Man, that's a tough one between the Surge and the Rabid Bite. And we noted that black was actually what's open here. Right? So like Golgari would have been a very fine deck. I'm wondering if I should just abandon... Can I abandon Roost of Drakes? I don't want to. Because I want the Rabid Bite and the Surge if we're sticking where we are, and I should probably take the Surge. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick to my guns and take the Surge, but like we don't have a huge reason to be blue other than the Roost. This might be okay in this deck. Like the only blue kicker spells we're going to get are ones that we open, right? Yeah, and there's a Deadly Alliance 6-pick. So I think Golgari was the actual open pair. But you know what? We're good. I'll just draw all the cards. And we've got some playable stuff over here. I shouldn't need to spare supplies with 2 field researches. I could probably rock another Divner, though. But notably, we are missing Into the Royal, we are missing Royal Mage. A lot of cards we would like to have that we don't. And there's the Shadow Cat. So, okay, I was explaining in this draft how Golgari Theory is not necessarily the right way to go anymore. In this particular draft, I think it was. Our kicker count is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm likely to play this. I don't know that it's going to be that good without a couple good hits here. There's a world where Chilling Trap is playable. Because I don't think I want 2 of these, and I think even if I do, I can probably find another one. Okay. That's a late Predation. I like that card a good bit. But I think I'd rather just make sure our 2 drops are covered. That gives us 5. playable. And gems. Alright, so let's get some good blue kickers here, ideally. That wizard's pretty dang good. I also really like Blight Blades, even though it is difficult for me to say them. But I think we'd be pretty happy having this. The rummaging ability is pretty good. We've got enough wizards to trigger it, enough spells to trigger it. Come on in, buddy. It's not exactly what we're looking for, but it'll work. Good grief. I want this pack. 2 geckos is pretty amazing. But the first Royal Mage has to be more important than the second gecko. I kind of can't handle that. Because like worst case scenario for this deck, we play 2 Skyclave Squids and we're done. With this, I can get back an Ambush, a Broken Wings, a Surge, Field Research, Bite. Like this actually does something. So how many Field Researches would you play? Because I think 3 is about the upper limit for me. I don't think I'm interested in a Canopy Baloth. And I think we probably could have gotten into Wizards at some point here too. I think 3 is a good number. Golgari stuff. But I think I need the next Rabid Bite over the Royal Mage. Because like my interaction now is limited to Rabid Bite, Ambush, Broken Wings. This does not please me that these cards are in separate packs, because I'd really like, or in the same pack, I'd like them to be separated. Okay, never mind, I don't know what's open. Just pick random cards when you draft. It'll be more fun that way. I suspect the deck at this point is my choice of 2 drops, plus a Cascade Seer. I'm trying to decide what I'm more likely to want to bring in. A little bit of life gain versus an aggro deck, or a little bit of a finisher. I think with this many flyers, I probably don't need the finisher. We'll take an aesthetic. Oh, we got a Blight Blade. I can't say it. Blight Blade. That makes the Rabid Bite even better. Now, if we had some Reclaim the Waste, we might talk about this Blood Beckoning. But we don't. So I don't think we're gonna. I might still take it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. If somebody's exceptionally grindy, we could bring that in. I don't think we're actually going to play this. We've got like 3 interactions with it. But it's, I mean, well, I guess 4 if you're talking about kicking the Surge, but I still don't think we're going to play it. There we go. Done. We got us a deck. We did it, Reddit. Do I want to play a Might of Marasa? I almost never play this card. But if you're ever going to, this is the build you would do it in. I think I'm gonna. And we'll just run 17 lands. That's a disgrace. I think we got into blue. People fought over blue. This was not my experience yesterday when we were drafting. Yesterday, blue was just wide open. Is there anything we're not playing that we should be? Could sort of see bringing in the Baloth if we're on the play. Sort of see bringing in the aesthetic. The Stomper's kind of just big dumb thing that may be able to pick up an ambush, which is fine. Do our Stream Raider battle, and then I'll take a peek at it. That's a lot of bad guys. Oh, that poor little pupper. We may be in danger. Yeah, you may be onto something there, GRS. A lot of times when I'm playing blue-green, I'll have at least one of the two ramp cards from Low Mage's Familiar to the little elemental dude that can be a land. We don't have any of those. The 6/5 trample body is pretty relevant, though. There's a lot of 4X creatures that can trade with the aesthetic. I suppose the difference is if I'm playing Roost of Drakes, I probably shouldn't need the trample to close out a game. So I think I'm with you there. And I never needed to worry. We definitely had this. We were never in danger. It only looked like we were in danger. Unglued with the kills and the assists. Scrolls for Simwife, Schmuck, and Silence. And yeah, let's... Would you like to kill a snowman? Sure, kill a snowman. Yeah, I think I'm with you there. That makes a lot of sense to me. I'm having a tough time with the Kazandu Stomper because I think I initially really undervalued this card. And it's kind of pushed me into playing it more often than I should now. And eventually I will range find and get the right spot where the Kazandu Stomper is actually good. I know I overrated this because I'd end up playing 4 of them in a deck. And it's not bad. I like the aesthetic. Sometimes you got to get turnt timber. It's great in those, or it's great in a deck that can ramp. Because 6/5 trample's no joke. I believe it's Turnt Timber Aesthetic. I could be wrong about the name, though. There's where all my Reclaimed Waste went. I think we're just hoping we can curve out here. This is a pretty good curve if we can hit it. Sure. That's not great. Alright, we get in the right direction now. As long as there's lands. Okay. They're using removal spells on not our win conditions. I find this acceptable. Well, less acceptable now. Less acceptable now. Like, that is the one piece of ramp we have as well, which is a reason to include the 6/5. Although ramping into a 3/2 is really not the scariest thing I've ever seen. I use they if you don't mind, Cal. That's the dangerous one. Okay. Good morning, Tommy. I'm confused as to why they didn't attack with the squid last turn. I think I probably would have. It's not blocking these. Yes, Scott, that is the name of the card. Reason not to attack first. They might have another Vanquish the Wake. I'm not sure what their plan is, because I would think trading a squid for a Divner would be good for them. I mean, this works too. Yeah, it seems to be a build your own landfall deck. But not quite enough creatures. I've built this deck. I think one of the last, no, it wasn't the last draft we did. It was the second to last draft we did yesterday, which was I'm green and I can splash stuff, but I didn't really have good enough stuff to be splashing. And that's not to say they don't. We've seen less than half of their deck, right? But yeah, we've seen about half of their deck. So we don't know what else was in there. We saw a lot of cards and not much reason for us to be playing Broken Wings, right? The Kicker Land? What's the Kicker Land? Yeah, maybe I should change my stream title to Drafting and Vibing. Oh, McKindy? Nah. I don't think that's a particularly good land, personally. If we're concerned about them getting out ahead of us, we could play the Squid. I don't really want to bring in the Baloth on the draw. I think I'm going to try ACOG if they're playing some kickers and big mana. The other option is just bring in the Stomper, which I don't hate. Let's split the difference and bring in the Seer. Yeah, if there's a game 3, I would consider bringing in the Baloth there. It's a curve. If you listen carefully, you'll hear this troll moo when I play it. It's turned into a curve and stuff. All right, listen carefully. That's what cows sound like. Moo Rasa Brute, yes. I think I like having the option to 3 and 2 next turn rather than trying to clear it now. I don't think they're not going to kill me with this anytime soon at the very least. And it's generally a good default to, if you're not sure what you want to do, cast the spell that costs the most mana. Although in this case, I reckon I'm a wait. Because bouncing their dude next turn should just kill him, right? Yeah, and then some, if that's their plan. Yeah, that's generally good advice, too. So, like, the consideration was never really... I suppose there was a consideration to Rabid Bite it, but, like, I'm getting in 3 damage that turn, but missing 3 damage the next turn, which kind of just doesn't matter. Wadu? I guess we're on Vanquish the Weak. That would have been a really good time to have a spell that did a thing. Let's not deal with that. It is probably worth doing like a top 5 limited heuristics video at some point or something along those lines. They're making a game of it though with that Geezer Mage. But so am I. It's a wizard on a lizard. I have not found those 3 color piles to work out very good for me. If you're watching on YouTube and you saw some of the earlier videos where we were going for like 3, 4, 5 color green decks, that can work, but you need to have incredibly powerful cards for it to work. So I think setting up for that deck is not really reasonable. But if you pick like a really good mythic and get past a really good rare, all of a sudden you can start to think about that. But I wouldn't be trying to position myself for that deck. It's like, if you get the rares, you can build the deck that can cast them all. But if you build a deck that can cast them all and then don't get the rares, you end up with kind of just 3, 4 color meh. Limited resources is a great place to get like beginner draft stuff. I think Lords of Limited handles like your next levels. They're very good places to get started. I don't think I would be the limited player I am now without Brian Wong. Yeah, those are really good tips. Those are really good tips. All right, let's save some money on car insurance, yo. Ethan's good people. Show me what you got. Oh, they got one of them, You trying to fake me out or you want to sell it? I don't believe you. I straight up don't believe you. They're bluffing a Zulaport Herpaderp and they don't have it. Did you find me through Ethan? Are there bad people in your stream? No. There are no bad people in my stream. This is a happy place. I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't be where I am in Magic now without Ethan. Neat. I was wondering what I was going to cast this turn. And they're like, here you go, cast that Brute. Cool. I'll do that. Moo mana, moo problems, yo. So you see my problem. With 1 mana, we could begin making Gnarlrid colonies. But I have not 1 mana. Because this gives me a discount, and this is... Holy crap! It's Canopy Baloth Tribal. I mean, maybe if they have 5 more. I mean, it would be close to Borderland Minotaur power levels. And that is one of the more powerful Magic cards in existence. I don't even want to kick it. I do need to make sure this lands, though. Borderland. I still need to make my Borderland Minotaur cube. No, I'm good. Vroom, 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 vroom. Sorry, the neighbors are vrooming. Do I want to block now? Because I might. No. You played that to trade. You gonna trade it. I can't really answer that on a PG-rated stream, but I think I know. So your last card is Might of Murasa, and you want to get me with it? I'm kind of on board, yo. Like, I can already cast another 4/4. I got tons of mana. Worst case scenario, I can Broken Wings this, unlock it, and have lethal. 4 AM? That's crazy. think I want to hold up this Broken Wings and Learn to Fly. Them at 4 with 2/4/4 tramplers seems good. Still seems pretty good. Because if I need to, I can kill that. Although, if I unlock this and draw an island and bounce that, we just win. I like just winning. That seems really good, the winning part. And I can always get this back and do the other thing later too. Like this puts them at 1, which is not insignificant, but it doesn't really give me the means to finish the game. So I think what that means is I want to go dig for the blue again. Which is a bit of a shame, because I'm going to have to chump with something, and it's probably going to be a Scythe Cat. You know, or I might just have a different plan. Good old Mighty Marasa. I've never played this card. And there's times where it's pretty good. I think it makes some sense in this deck. I'm not used to seeing this card because it's rare and because it's 7 mana. I just don't know why you'd want a 7 mana 6/6 hexproof. My best blue-green kicker decks don't have it. This is not my best blue-green kicker deck. This is scraping together a blue-green kicker deck. I don't undervalue tricks. It looks that way. The reason why it looks that way is because I'm a mid-range player. If you've watched people who are, there's basically 3 archetypes of drafters. I refer to it as mad drafting. You've got Mike Midrange, Andy Aggro, and Debbie Dirtle. Andy Aggro is playing 3 combat tricks in all of his decks. Debbie Dirtle will never touch them and thinks they're gross. Mike Midrange will play one every once in a while, and some formats will lead Mike to wanting 2. This is one that's led me to basically not wanting any, unless you consider Subtle Strike a combat trick. Big difference between 6 and 7 mana though, Ranger. Like, it seems like 6 and 7 are pretty close numerically, but they're not. Because that could be 2 or 3 turns later if you're missing land drops. We need a size board here. I should probably pay attention to that. This was Canopy Baloth Tribal. I'm going on the draw again. I think I'd like a squid to trade with a Baloth over something that doesn't trade with a Baloth. Yeah, this Scythe Cat on the draw is going to be pretty bad. If we lose this game, I think I bring in my own Baloth and bring the Scythe Cat back. So I guess I said all that to say that I do undervalue tricks in general. Pretty happy to snap off that Vastwood Surge at 4. And I think I'm supposed to play out the Gnarlrid Colony here. If they've got a clunky draw, we can get some value off of it. That ain't super clunky. And that'll hold us for a while, but that's fine. No, thank you. Just doing a coward check. I think that's worth doing every now and then. I didn't have anything. It should put them in a mindset where they're comfortable blocking with this going forward, and we could do things with Rabid Bite potentially, but... Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. Do you see? Do you see how good next turn is going to be if they don't mess with this? That's not messing with it. That is, in fact, the opposite of messing with it. So if you're playing combat tricks in mid-range decks, it's usually because you didn't get enough removal spells. In my experience. I don't need them to make combat more unpredictable. They need to exist in the format. Combat's already unpredictable for my opponent because they don't know whether I have them or not. And I can also usually tell what combat tricks my opponents have. They're only unpredictable if you're playing against somebody who really doesn't know the format particularly well. Like, those of you that have been watching for a while, I can usually call exactly what combat tricks my opponents have based on the attacks that they make. Alright, are we ready to stream raid? It looks like we're about ready to stream raid. This is a boss fight, and there's only 47 of us. I'm slightly concerned, but we're going to go for it, because I don't think 2 minutes are going to make a difference. Cross your fingers. Let's see if we got this. We may have to try this one again, because this is looking scary. Okay, we're starting to catch up. No, not the healers. Tanks protect the healers. I was worried. I was worried. That was a chonky healer. Simwife with the kills, Harvard Dan with the assists. Scrolls for Old Man and gold for Simwife. Huzzah! We made it. There was no need to be afraid. Alright, we will go for the blue chest here. Defend me. Alright, and we got one more rodeo with this deck. And they are fine, say. Like, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just like, in a way, aren't instant speed removal spells like combat tricks? Sort of. But just better? Khalidi Ambush is pretty fun to say too. I still think Gomafata Vanguard is the most fun card to say in the set. Yeah, I still, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I think we are on the same page. All right, so we got us a little bit of an aggro deck here. What? We got us a 3... They're Mardoing it. They are Mardoing it. I would imagine they like to party. Which should mean they don't want to block this. I don't realistically think there's a chance I want to Rabid Bite either of those. Because my guess is they're looking to get to the big Minotaur and then swing for, what, 10? And then we can just Rabid Bite that and basically have this locked down. I feel like we've basically terminated those creatures. See you later, Riptide. Here you can see the value of combat tricks. One, two, three, four, five, six. That's pretty dang cute with the Scythe Cat. But I don't think I need a Bigu Scythe Cat. I think Rabid Bite should be enough to get us the win here. It's a lot of 2/1s. We're kind of doing Mardu 2-drop tribal. They've got to be trying to ramp out one of the Minotaurs. Because I don't know what you're doing otherwise. I would say the 1/3 would be pretty good, but they seem so, like, reticent to attack with these. Zagras? Maybe. Or maybe just think it, like, I can remember a lot of people thinking you were going to play 3 colors based on the spell lands, and it just never really materialized. Well, I mean, you could do it, you just didn't win very much. They really seem to be valuing these party tags, but I guess on the draw, maybe I do want a 1/3. That buys you a lot of time against the Minotaur, too, if that's their payoff. On the draw, I don't think I want the Scythe Cat. We go on the play, I can bring that and the Buddy Baloth in. We're keeping the wings, because at least we'll get that, and they may have some equipment in there too. Some argument that you could play ACOG here, but I feel like I end up tapping out on turn 2 a lot. Are we going to play this whole thing without ever drawing the Roost of Drakes? I mean, if so, that shows the power of blue-green. You don't need a Roost of Drakes to do it. Like, we have one in the deck, but I don't think we've ever played it. All right, with the Wizard, I think we're happy to go 2, 3, draw some cards and see where we at. Eek. These broken wings. Back to the combat trick discussion, I also think I like combat tricks a lot more when they're cheaper. The 2 mana combat tricks I get real excited about. 1 mana combat tricks kind of make me sad. No, I said that backwards. 1 mana combat tricks I get real excited about. 2 mana combat tricks I'm kind of like, Good morning, Orcish. I probably should have just cast that field research. I don't need to leave up Broken Wings on turn 4. I need it on turn 5. So I'm going to end up tapping out anyway, so like I don't see where it super matters. Sorry, I'm bad at multitasking, as are other humans. Yeah, Giant Growth was real good. Remember Giant Growth? I remember Giant Growth. Get turned! Healing Salve. Icky Poison. Their best bet may be to take the research. I like this. It's not a white splash. They're straight up 3 colors. We saw an Angel of Herpaderp earlier. I think I'm happy enough just drawing here. The question is, do I want to Rabid Bite any of this? And I kind of feel like currently I don't. I also don't particularly want to trade these off, so I think we're fine with the board stall for the moment. Good morning, Techno Shaman. This is a practice tactics. Okay, practice tactics me. It's not a practice tactics. It's enabling raid? Ah, Spork Mage, sure. We find this acceptable. If I don't actually have wonderful blocks now, that does put me in a scenario where I might want to get rid of what I think is the most threatening creature. Because we're going to end up having to block with these. So I think it's probably time to just kill this rogue. Because I can block the rest of this pretty happily. It's not like that. I don't think they're going to have much bigger stuff on the ground. I could trade this off for a 2-drop, trade this off for that. Like, we all know that this is dying. They knew that too. That doesn't mean they don't have another one. If you kill it on the stack, there's not a cleric tag. So we kind of got a free shock out of our broken wings. It did mess up my plan considerably that they killed the wizard. Because I was going to use that to dump extra lands, and I can't. We may have to do the unthinkable and use a defensive combat trick here. Yeah, there's a second one, so that's going to make me a little nervous until we find a way to deal with it. And I think we still sit and see if we can find a way to deal with it. We're going to need it pretty quick. I am supposed to be the one who dominates the countryside in the air, but it is looking like that may not be the case. We may just have to try to fight on the ground, because I don't have much of an opportunity here. Howdy, Joe. Yeah, I don't have much of a chance here. I think we have to try to make something happen on the ground. I can't think of any reason why they would block this. Yeah, there's not a reason why they would block this. I typically try not to criticize my opponent's deck choices too much. Because, like, I don't know what led to them doing the draft. I don't know what's in their hand. Just saying that it's not a deck you would expect to come up very often, which I can appreciate. Yeah, I'm functionally dead here. I would need them to trade off multiple creatures here, which they're just not going to do. But I'll give them the opportunity to screw up. Did not see a base camp. I mean, it looks like Black-Red Party essentially splashing for some Shepherds of Heroes off of the Cabria takedown, which doesn't sound unreasonable to me. That's me dead right now. Good news is, pretty happy about the decision to run the Broken Wings. Because there's 800 targets for it. We did get him down to 20, though. Well, 21. So I think I could see a pretty compelling argument now for the Snarecaster. And we've talked a lot about going on the play how the Scythe Cat and the Baloth could be pretty good. But I think I want to make some kind of bigly changes here and bring all three of these in to adjust. I don't think I need the Cleric because they're not looking to, like, attack me with those 2/1s. They just kind of want them to sit there. I'm not entirely sure that I want these Diviners, but if I keep the air clear adjacent, they're a pretty reasonable way to get through. It's making Brute look a little suspicious. And frankly, it's making the Riptide look a tad suspicious. Yeah, I think it is. I don't think we're kicking that much, and it's not blocking anything on the ground. I could sort of see an ACOG in here too, because they're tapping out a lot. But I think we can get some work done with this. Hey, we get to draw Roost of Drakes. That's neat. This is the first time we have drawn it. Ah, there's the base camp. So the first island hopefully finds us the second, was the justification in keeping, and now it almost assuredly will. That is super awkward. That is super awkward. I'm assuming it broke something in constructed if it came into play untapped. But I think there was a decision somewhere that they didn't want you playing 3-color decks unless you were playing green. Or if you did, you were going to pay a price for it. Throne of McKindy is a significantly worse land. Like, by a lot. It sort of does come into play tapped if you think about it. Yeah, that may be the issue, is there's no actual decision making if it comes into play untapped. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to have to trade this off for the Fisher Wizard, I think, which makes me sad. I could save it and then try to Rabid Bite something, but they're pretty close to being able to just cast their Clerics, and I'm concerned that those will kill me. So you're telling me they tested decks that had Oko in them? I don't believe that. Oko and testing just don't go in the same sentence. No one tested that. This would have been a really, really good time to have drawn a land. Not that I'm complaining, just that like the land here would have really done something for us. And we win the game. But we don't have the land, so we don't win the game. You can't win them all. I guess I just have to accept that. Yeah, okay. Okay. We were never winning this. We were never, ever, ever winning this, and it's okay. So we've gone 14 cards deep and found 3 lands. That's okay. The reason it would have been really good is we can basically guarantee they have a Shepherd in hand after that. I still need this to survive. It doesn't matter because I can't actually kill anything. Just for funsies. Okay, so that's 17 deep and we got 3 lands. Time to join a Shuffler Cabal. Alrighty, boys and girls of YouTube, thank you for tuning in. I hope you have enjoyed watching the draft. If you would like to watch a draft live or participate in the Chaos drafts, which we have been doing pretty consistently in the afternoons around here, you can do so at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube.